to my channel. Today we will be talking about bullet journaling for beginners. I've been wanting to make this video for a while because I just think it's nice to be able to hear someone say what bullet journaling is about and how you can make it the best for yourself. Just because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not creative enough to bullet journal, or just excuses like that as to why they don't want to bullet journal. Sorry for saying I'm trying not to do that anymore. Anyway, this video, I hope it will kind of bring you more peace of mind as to how you can personally begin bullet journaling and what it has done for me as well. So, as you probably know, I use the Scribbles That Matter bullet journal. This is just their basic one with all the doodles around the cover. This is my second bullet journal that I've had. My first one was a Leuchtturm bullet journal, dot grid notebook. That's one of the really popular ones that a lot of people get. That's what I started off with. It's about $20, and I believe the Scribbles That Matter dot grid notebook is also around that same price. So it is a bit more expensive, or just on the pricier side of other options. And with that, I'll get into our first section of this video, which will be talking about the supplies that you would need to begin bullet journaling. So I have a list here. I'm just going to put it off to the side. And yep, let's get into it. So the first supply that you will need to begin bullet journaling is a journal. Now, like I said, this is the Scribbles That Matter dot grid notebook. It was about $20-ish from Amazon, and I knew I wanted this one because I have been bullet journaling for over a year, so I'm okay with spending more money to get a better quality. But you don't have to spend that much money. You can literally just get a notebook, like one of those lined college ruled notebooks for $1 at the dollar store, and begin with that. The reason I say that is because if it turns out that bullet journaling just isn't for you, then you don't want to have like shelled out all this money on something that you're not going to use. And I think that's what where a lot of things start to go wrong for people. They use all of this, they spend all this money on better quality things, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but then they get discouraged along the way and don't use what they bought, so they are essentially wasting money that way. But like I said, you can use a lined notebook, a grid notebook, dot grid notebook. Most people use dot grid, and I will show you what that looks like if you don't know. So this is a dot grid. Instead of lines as a grid, they're just dots. That's what most people use. You could also use just blank paper too. Whatever works for you. The whole thing about bullet journaling is that you cater it towards yourself. So, if you want a really cheap dot grid notebook, I know Michael's Artist Loft brand has a dot grid notebook for like $5. So that would be a good one to start off with. So next, what you need is a pen or a pencil. Let me put a paper underneath so you can see it better. So this is the Papermate Ink Joy gel pen in a 0.5. I really like this pen because it just has a really nice crisp black ink that comes out of it, and you'll find that a lot with most gel pens. I bought a pack of 3, I believe, off of Amazon for like $5 maybe. But again, you can use whatever pen you want to use, whatever you have on you. You probably don't even have to go out and buy any pens because you most likely already have some. Pencils work great too, especially if you're sketching out ideas. That way you can erase. So definitely a pen that you like to write with. You don't have to follow any crazy pen trends that you see online. Just get whatever pen works for you. Next, you can also get markers. Now these are highlighters, but I do use them as markers. These are the Zebra mild liners. They're pretty popular just because I feel like they're really popular because they're like aesthetically pleasing. Now I have the 3 main packs. I think there's a 4th one that's newer, but these are just a couple that I pulled out. These highlighters, they have the highlighting tip, so like that blunt edge, and then on the other end they have more of a bullet tip to like draw or write with. I also have, I don't have it with me, but back home I have a pack of Crayola Super Tips. I highly recommend getting a pack of Crayola markers to start off with because they're cheap, they're easy to use, and there's nothing like complicated about them. And for the main reason they're cheap, like I said, those will be your best options to use. So now that we know what you kind of need to get started, and let me also say that those are like the basics of what you need. Of course, people use like paint, watercolors, stickers all throughout. Those are not necessary. You don't have to have those. It's, if you want to, you can. You can get really cheap things again at like the dollar store, or if you have coupons for Michael's or Hobby Lobby, stuff like that. But to begin, you don't need all that stuff unless you want to. Again, it's to cater yourself. So, I've talked a little bit about making it for yourself. So now I just want to talk about the mindset that you'll need for bullet journaling. And I'm just going to put this here so that we have something to look at. So first, you should ask yourself why you want to bullet journal. What is the purpose of you bullet journaling, or what do you want to get out of bullet journaling? For myself, I used basic planners that you buy at the store pretty much all of my life up until college. I think it was like my 2nd year of college I started bullet journaling, and I would just get discouraged if there were a couple days that were just left blank. I didn't write anything down in them because to me, that represented me not doing anything, not being productive, being lazy, and I didn't like that. So I discovered bullet journaling, and I realized that I could change my layout whenever I wanted to. It was okay if I skipped writing out a Friday because I didn't have anything to do, but mentally I wouldn't see a blank day on there. So it just made me feel more productive, which actually made me more physically productive. I was doing more things, completing homework on a better time frame. So I really liked that, and I was able to be more creative. As a biology major, I didn't feel like I was being very creative. I didn't have a creative output because I was basically doing more like logical things than creative things. So, like I'll show you my doodle pages for October so far. So like being able to do drawing challenges, that's helping with my creative output. I'm definitely not like the best drawer, doodler, whatever you want to call it, artist, I guess. And that's completely fine because this is for me. This is not for anyone else. No one's gonna, like, I'm not trying to make a profit off of my drawings or anything. It's just for me to wind down, relax, and enter like the creative side of my mind. And that's something really important to note, that you don't have to be creative to do it. You can, let me find a page that's like, see, this is like a really basic layout for a day. All it is a to-do list, and I used a colored marker to write the date. So you could go from like that to something more creative, like this. Like I drew a bit more, I put a nice quote. Some people, they might be artists, and they're gonna be using their bullet journal in a much more artistic way. You could literally just write the day and then a to-do list, not at any color, and have it very basic, very minimal. You don't have to have splashes of paint all over or scraps of paper glued in with pictures all over. You don't have to do that. And that's when, like I said earlier, how people say they're not creative enough to bullet journal. You don't have to be creative. It's not about art. It's about getting your to-dos, your collections, anything like that in one place that makes it easier for you to keep track of. Another thing that's important to understand, and I might be able to find an example of it in my book, is that mistakes will happen. You know, if you're writing in pen, you'll probably make a few mistakes. I know I definitely, I don't use a ruler anymore. I used to when I first started. So my title here is completely off center. And it's not like the best looking font either. But that's okay, because it's me. Like, I get to embrace what I like about myself. Oh, see, here we go, 21st to 25th, but I wrote 24th underneath of it. So now there's a huge big one and it looks really messy, but that's okay. It's just about accepting the mistakes, because, you know, we all make mistakes, and there's nothing bad about that. You get to embrace the imperfections. It makes your bullet journal way more unique than anyone else's, you know? A normal planner that you buy at the store that has everything set up for you, 100 other people could have that, and so it wouldn't make it special at all. But since you design it yourself, you make your own mistakes in it, it's 100% unique. You can't find anything else like that. Let's say you're at the point where you have all your supplies, you know what you want to do with your bullet journal. Now you might not know how to really do it, how to set things up. So you need some bullet journal inspiration. And there are plenty of ways to get bullet journal inspiration. You can go to YouTube, and you're already on it right now, looking up bullet journal inspiration if you're watching this video. YouTube is a great place to go for that. Pinterest is also really great. All you have to do is search bullet journal layouts, and you can find a ton of different ways to create layouts. And it's okay if you copy what other people do, just as long as you give them credit if you're like posting it anywhere online. Instagram is another great place. Again, all you have to do is search bullet journal layout, and you can find a ton of tags of layouts that people have done. And then also Facebook. There are a ton of bullet journal groups on Facebook that you can join. I'm part of the Bullet Journal Junkies group on Facebook, and people post their spreads all the time. They ask questions. They're very supportive of people's ideas of what they want to do with their bullet journal, so I highly recommend something like that. So those are all really good options for inspiration. So now you have your supplies, you know what you want to do with your bullet journal, and you have inspiration. So now we can go more into the spreads, the bullet journal spreads. There are a lot of things you can do, and again, it's all up to you. There's nothing set in stone of what you need to do, but I'll just flip through things that I have, just in case you want to know. So the Scribbles That Matter dot grid notebook already comes with a key layout and an index layout. It's up to you if you want to use them or not. I put things in the key layout, but I really don't live by those icons. It's just something to keep me more like organized, I guess, but like I said, I don't live by that, and I don't color code at all either. So I just have that blank, and that's fine. Here we have the index, where I just write the titles of some of my spreads and then the pages that they belong on. I don't always keep up with this. If I do, I could be like 2 months ahead of where I left off, and I just go back and write what is in there, and then the pages. That's just if I have time, but it's nothing mandatory, you know. I have a yearly spread, so I have the rest of 2018 on here, and then the beginning of 2019. And I just have important dates that I've written on there. I have a reading log and some of my student loan trackers. This page is my travel page, so I got a sticker set of the United States, and I've just been adding those stickers in while I've traveled to those areas. I do need to add New York, but you know, that's an idea of like a collection to keep of where you've been. You don't even have to have stickers. You could just literally write Virginia, June 2018, you know, whatever works for you. I wrote out my planning routine just to try and keep me organized so that I remember to put everything that I want to put. And then here I have a sticky note reminding me that I reserved this page to write my morning and night routine. I did this back in May. I put this sticky note here and I still haven't done it. And that's perfectly okay. I might never get around to doing that. Or maybe I just haven't thought of the best, design for it yet. But when I do, I'll let you know. I'll post it on my Instagram for sure. And then I go into my monthly. So I was using more of my creative energy here. I decided July would be all watermelon themed, so I have pink and green all over, some watermelon washi tape, watermelon post-it note, and then I use pink and green throughout the month. And you can see I have different layouts. Here I have a vertical layout, but then here I did more journaling because I did a lot of stuff that weekend, so I journaled for it. Then here I have horizontal layouts and then a whole page for just one day. So it can really like change depending on whatever fits your needs, whatever fits best for that day. And then here in August, I just have purple throughout, some vertical, and then some journaling. And then I got to this really basic horizontal layout. You know, it might be really messy, it might look sloppy, but it's what I wanted to do. And then in September, horizontal again, and I used washi tape a lot more to divide the days up. So those are great options. Trackers, you can do habit trackers, sleep trackers, spending trackers, writing out wish lists that you want. I have an outdoor supplies wish list that I have going on now. You can journal, you can draw, like you saw I've done doodle challenges, so it's really just up to you. I do have this dot grid paper here from the Happy Planner supply, and I was just going to demonstrate some ways that you can use it. Not this paper in particular, but just like layout ideas. So if you want to do monthly, you can, so let's say this box represents our page for the month. And as you probably saw in my journal, I had days listed out going down, and then whatever event corresponds to that. Or I had a monthly block, you know? And then it's basically a calendar. So really either of those work very well, or you don't even have to have one at all. I also like doing weekly. Then again, if this represents our page, wow, that was bad. I was looking through the screen. Okay, whatever. Like I said, imperfection, embrace it. Anyway, weekly, so I like doing like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then vertical. You can even put the hours going down if you have more like of appointment based and then just write the appointments. You could do more horizontal like you saw. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then just divide up those days. You could have a whole page dedicated to one day. They'll probably even fill up your notebook faster too. So really there are a lot of options. I could definitely go way more in depth in what you can do layout wise, but I'll let you figure that out on your own by doing your own little research, looking up inspiration online like I told you through those resources, and really whatever you come up with is the correct way. There is no wrong thing to do in your bullet journal. Whatever you want to do it. Like Shia LaBeouf, just do it. You can do it. Just do whatever you want in your bullet journal. I highly recommend bullet journaling for really anyone. You can have your whole week for school and then a whole week for work, side by side on different pages. The possibilities are endless, and it's all for you to explore and create on your own, which I think is the best part of bullet journaling. Okay, so that's all I'm gonna say about bullet journaling for beginners. There's so much more I could say, but it would really just be me ranting about why I like bullet journaling, and I think this video is long enough. So if you have any questions about what I talked about, or really any questions about bullet journaling in general, leave them in the comments below, and tell me what type of planning and documenting you use now. Do you bullet journal? Do you use Erin Conjuring notebooks? Do you use the Happy Planner notebooks? Do you just use any random notebook? What do you do? Tell me that in the comments below too. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it and found it helpful, make sure to like it, hit the like button, and subscribe. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Bye!